Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. I'm Mike.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Doug.
And today on the show, we're watching The Last Starfighter. Woo! And show, guys. This week on Does It Hold Up? The show where we subject Kirsten, a millennial, to our 80s crap that we liked when we were kids growing up. We rewatch things we probably hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
She watches it for the first time, and we decide whether it actually is a good movie, it holds up, or whether it's just rose-colored glasses nostalgia that makes us think that it was good in the first place.
Right, yeah.
I should rename this series Destroying My Childhood because there's running into more that don't hold up. Yeah, Destroying My Childhood. Let's just leave things as they are. Like, I remember this great, and then I watch it again, I'm like, oh, man. What was I thinking?
It was like I was a stupid kid.
I was like I was a dumb kid. All right, so this week we're watching The Last Starfighter.
It started with a game.
You gonna bust the record!
But it wasn't just any game.
You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada.
Step into my office. I've seen him come and I've seen him go, but you're the best, my boy. Light years ahead of the competition.
Alex Rogan
Alex?
I'm X.
is the last Starfighter. The Last Starfighter.
I love this show as a kid.
Yeah.
1984. I mean, that was a big year for movies. What?
Yeah.
It was like Ghostbusters, and in the theaters, this actually was a failure in the theaters. It opened up July of '84. It went up against The Karate Kid and Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
So
hit.
yeah, no one saw this movie in the theaters, but it got the following after.
Right.
It has a distinction of being the first fully CGI effects movie.
Yeah.
Tron came out the year before this, but Tron still had some practical effects
Right.
that were updated with CGI. This was all CGI effects, although it almost did not. Little trivia for you. They actually, because this was the first time they did a whole movie with CGI, it took 17 months or whatever it was supposed to be to get everything rendered. And they were running out of time. So they actually had a modeling company on basically on standby. That even at the last minute, they could still go in there quicker, build models for this spaceship, and they could do that in like 3 months.
Right.
So I tell you the difference time. Of course, nowadays I'm sure they can do it quicker, but for some reason it just costs millions more to do it. But they did say there were several shots that didn't quite make it. Wasn't as good because they were rushed for the time. So, but I thought it was a good time. I don't really remember the effect shots that much, so that's probably something I'll be looking forward. Kirsten, before I asked Doug about what he thought about this movie, what do you think? Last Starfighter. When you hear Last Starfighter, do you know anything about it? First off,
Well, I don't know anything about it, but I was looking at the front of the movie box. We do have like an Enemy of Mine feel kind of going.
the alien does look like an Enemy of Mine alien.
And it says something about how he has dreams, but his dreams were in himself or something like that. So I feel like it's going to be a very cheesy movie about this alien that comes to the world, and let's see what's going to happen. These two people are going to find him and try to take him back to his home planet because the people are going to. It's going to be very E.T. feel. I feel like.
Lost Alien movie.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Doug, what do you remember about The Last Starfighter?
Well, without ruining too much.
Well, yeah, don't ruin it. Just what do you? More. Did you like it?
I did. I loved the movie when I was a kid. I honestly can't remember the last time I've seen it. I know I've seen it again as an adult, but it's probably been 10, 15 years. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think it's going to hold up. The effects aren't the greatest, but they are still pretty cool. And there's some good characters in it. It's, there is some definite cheese in it, but I think in a good kind. There's the good kind of cheese. that's just fun.
Fun. Just
Yeah.
I do know I have seen this, but it's been like 10 years. I showed it to James when he was like 8, and he just turned 18 this month. So that was 10 years ago. So I actually can't date it when I saw this last. But it's still a while back. I just don't like reading up on like the special effects and that. I don't remember the special effects. You know.
I can remember a few specific scenes. I mean, there's some really iconic ones in there. So
yes. All right, yeah, this is kind of like a, well, I'm going to give the story away, but this is kind of like a fantasy movie. So, you know, if you're a little kid, you know, played video games, you ever imagine yourself as a, you know, in Star Wars, piloting X-Wings or whatnot, this is kind of like a, you know, fantasy fulfillment movie. And I think that's why a lot of people, you know, my age, gravitated towards this movie. You know, they could see themselves as a hero. So, but, all right, yeah, so there we go. Little, our Enemy Mine E.T. movie. We'll see what you think of it after we watch it. So we're off to watch Last Starfighter. We'll be back to tell you whether it holds up or not.
Forward. To the bar. The forward bar.
no, that didn't work.
Get the wrong controllers, the joystick. There's 3 of them on there.
Yeah, that one.
Oh,
Actually, not available. Probably
so
good.
you had to watch it. All right, it's playing.
First is kind of both.
I love Double Life.
How about the score?
It's pretty nice so far. I feel like I'm going on a cool adventure.
Robert Preston, he was the big crab. Hey, he escapes for the sequel.
Dear God.
You didn't want to get out of the trailer park. That's true.
I mean, you could always come back for her. You said you would.
Go back, you're in front of the truck.
Something to not go back for sure.
Sometimes you think it's right over grab a camera.
I think that I would probably miss the station because I would be taking too long trying to figure out I gotta get a picture of this! Where'd my camera go?
Yeah, I forgot to my film. All right, we're back. Having watched The Last Starfighter. All right, Kirsten, we'll give you the first go. It's the first time you've seen this.
Okay.
Tell us how awesome this was.
It was actually a really good movie. I liked it. It was a very, I hate to say cute, but it was very cute. I liked the concept of, you know, everyone has that video game that like they're obsessed with and they dream about being sucked into it.
Yeah.
And it's that same concept without being like sucked into it actually. That's like, oh, well, actually this is what it kind of is like, but here's the real world example. Come live your dreams in real life.
That's right.
It was really cool, and I loved the way it was ended. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm telling you what.
Wonderful cheese.
It
There
was
wonderful
great.
cheese.
I mean, it brought me back to like when he's like winning at the video game and like the whole trailer park comes out to watch him and cheer him on.
Good show, Starfighter. Way to go.
Alex, look.
Oh my God, was it 900,000? $900,000? You're gonna bust the record. Hey! Hey! Listen up, everybody! Alex is going for the record! Record?
Take a hand.
Hang on, let's do it.
Oh, there's... It's so exciting. Oh, there's...
It brought you back to, I mean, it may seem strange now, but it was part of the arcade culture in the 80s where if you're in an arcade, because you actually had to, it was a social thing.
Yeah.
You had to go out to an arcade and play a game with other people. And then if someone was close to a high score or whatever, all of a sudden a crowd would form around them at the arcade. And so it brought. I mean, I'm sure
All Stranger Things.
Yeah.
This last season.
That's true. Yeah. See, so
to get into it.
yeah. I mean, that's what it was. I don't know. What about you, Doug? What do you think?
Oh yeah, I love this movie. I mean, you can obviously you're like, wow, this is like a 90s video game.
Yeah.
But hey, it's still cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun movie. It's nothing like spectacular.
No.
It's not going to win any awards or anything.
No.
But it is a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah, I agree, and I think obviously people like talk about the computer graphics and everything like that, and obviously they didn't
Right.
have enough time to finish all the graphics they wanted to. But this is the
Right.
first movie that was all computer CGI.
Right. And
Right.
was it 84?
84. Yeah.
So, I mean, think of the computers you were using
yeah,
back then.
exactly.
It's not like,
so it took 17 months to
Yeah.
to render this thing.
there's definitely not the depth you were going to get into with, pixels and all that kind of stuff that you
Now
were able
models
to-
would probably have looked better for the spaceships and the space battles, but all of Star Wars. But without this movie doing this, movies like this, we wouldn't have the
Somebody had to take the risk.
the CGI that we have today. So
Some of the shots were really good.
Yeah.
Like some of the shots of the ships flying and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the movements were a little like, oh yeah, that's definitely graphics. But
Yeah.
like when there were still shots of like the ship moving in
Yeah.
space or something like that, it was like, oh, that's pretty believable. Just don't move.
The only times it really was bad or you noticed really bad was when like textures, like the asteroids or the stuff like that. Some of the textures. But yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. Yeah, I mean, I when I got into it, I started remembering more and more about the movie. But I mean, watching it again for the first time in 10 years. Yeah, I really liked it. I liked. I don't know who's your favorite character.
Oh, probably the what is he called?
The Beta Unit?
Beta Unit, yeah.
His replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so horrifying when you first saw him. Like, what's going on here? Like, he stepped out and you like got the skin look to him.
Yeah.
So, like, what happened between the car and sitting in the bed?
He had to beg. He had to wait for all the. To reshape himself to look like Alex. I don't know, Doug. What stood out to you?
No, I mean, it's not like a lot of the characters get a lot of time.
That's true.
I guess just for sheer quirkiness, Centauri's is real fun.
Yeah.
He's a funny character.
Yeah, Centauri.
I especially like his spiel. Rule number 3: always trust Centauri.
Always trust Centauri. Yeah, I don't remember him being such a scoundrel as.
Oh yeah.
I remember. I thought I forgot he was in it just for the money.
Yeah.
This may come as a bit of a shock to you, but he doesn't want to be a starfighter.
Doesn't want to be a... Are you a coward? Are you crazy?
You didn't tell me about any of this. Return the money, Centauri.
Return the money? Are you delirious?
But hey, he kind of was a hero at the end. So I don't know. Yeah, this was definitely fantasy fulfillment movie. Everyone dreamed, like you said, dreaming about play your video game and then actually have you come do it in real life.
Yeah.
Although watch this movie, you're like, wow, how scary that would be.
Oh yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm in a space war?
We're just faking war, but now we're really in war.
now we're really in war. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I would want a little more practice time
Yeah.
than
It's
all
like
right.
going, sweet, I've got a lightsaber, but I don't have the Force. Dang
Yeah.
it.
Duh.
Yeah. You fly out there. I'm like, wait a minute. I went from a video game to going right into war. I'm like, can
Can we train a little bit
I
more?
train a little bit more? It was my first time in the ship. And then you got an experimental one with experimental weapons.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm with you, Doug. I mean, how hard is it to fly these things if it was they only had 10 pilots out of the entire
Yeah.
whatever their frontier?
Well, hey, come up with a simpler ship to
Yeah.
to bolster that fleet with.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you have some
Okay, if you got this super badass ship that only 10 people in all of the galaxy can pilot, well, then come up with a simpler ship that other people can pilot to
Right.
support them.
maybe some drones. Something. Even if they're not as good as like the the starfighters, at least they have something else to shoot at.
Maybe they're from a planet that has very minimal materials, and they used every last of their precious materials in order to make these badass ships.
So they want to trust them with anybody, but In that case, I'd spread them out a little bit, have multiple bases.
Probably.
Put all the starfighters in one place to get blown up.
Wait, when did the hangar go up?
I told you! When Zur attacked!
And where were the starfighters?
In the hangar!
You mean they're dead?
Death is a primitive concept. I prefer to think of them as battling evil in another dimension.
In another dimension? How many are left?
Including yourself?
Yeah!
One!
What about those hairstyles, though, huh? I mean, was that the middle-aged
I
balding
will
look?
say there was one disappointment with the show. Zur. Like,
Zur, yeah.
what was his point? You could have had the entire story be as it is, remove Zur, and call the people that were on that ship the Zur kind.
Yeah.
And what was with the scepter thing? Like, it felt like they were going to do something with it and have it have like magical powers or something.
No, just the blade.
Yeah.
Poked out of the end.
Not even a blade; it's like a little spike.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was the betrayal. That's how they got through the frontier. But they could have. You're right. He really didn't. Well, he was there to set up for the sequel. You saw he escaped.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Right? Yeah. He was the setup for the sequel they never got.
Well, and the person who he had the Zur follower. I forget what they actually named whatever the cult was after him.
Yeah.
And that's the guy who blew up the thing, was one of his followers, and the ships that were flying around the asteroids and they were fighting were his followers who were on the inside.
So they weren't the Kodans. They were
the Kodans were the ones who came from the outside. The ones with the ships that look different. And they're like, what's this ship doing way out here?
Yeah.
That was his followers.
Gotcha.
So he did have something to contribute. They just blew it all up before he got there.
Right. Well, yeah, that was kind of like not as well developed. But I mean, I like the fact that it was kind of split almost 50-50 with Earth. And normally I don't like that. I'm like, I want all in space. But the Earth story was compelling enough, especially with his replacement, the Beta unit.
Right.
And everybody, his girlfriend. So, I mean, that was, intriguing enough that I actually enjoyed spending part of half the movie there. So, but yeah, I mean, I would have totally, I would have totally left too. I'm like living in a trailer park and have to plunge toilets.
Yeah.
I didn't get the money to go to college. Of course.
Do you think that you would have stayed though, like initially when he has this like internal struggle? Do I really want to get myself into someone else's war?
Probably not when the guy's head got melted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a done deal for me. It's like, it's not dangerous. How dangerous is this? And you get an image of the guy's head melting. I'm like,
I mean, you follow the same thing. You're like, you go back. You're like, no, take me home. This sucks.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, these bounty hunters are going to be coming after you because they think you're a starfighter.
The incentive.
All right,
I guess I'll go back.
I guess I gotta
at
go
least
back.
then I'll be in a ship and with all of you guys, your armies.
Yeah.
And Did you go back? Like Mike says, yes. He'd go back after he. Like,
especially once you find that there's like bounty hunters coming after you. Like, I'm not staying here with bounty hunters coming.
Well, I mean, like after the bounty hunters, right? He decides at the end that he's gonna build the legion. He's gonna do the thing.
That'd be awesome.
I'm gonna stay in a society where I'm like worshipped by all these people, or I can go back and plunge toilets at the trailer park. I'm like, not a hard decision. You don't even have college to look forward to. You're like, oh, I'm stuck here, and I'm gonna go to community college.
I guess it's always true too that you know where Earth is at that point, or at least you know someone who knows where Earth is, so you can always just come back to it.
True. And you gotta the one thing you went back and picked up his girlfriend. So
That's true.
what else do you need? You're like, all right, sweet. Sorry, Mom. I'm out. Probably relieve the burden on her. She's working. Living in a trailer park, so now you don't have to worry about him. Of course.
Now that one lady's gonna lose her soaps.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, the trailer park's gonna go to hell.
Figure out how to be self-sufficient or something.
Well, that's why Lucas needs to step up and not only train to be the next pilot, he's got to train to plunge those toilets
and be motivated to train to be the pilot.
Be a pilot. Fix TV antennas. At least for another, 15 to 20 years. Then you won't need to worry about TV antennas anymore.
There you go.
All right. I think we all like this movie. I think we all in agreement that this holds up.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right, Doug, what would you rate this?
I mean, in nostalgia terms, in sticking to that thing, it's probably like a 7.5 for me.
7.5?
Yeah.
All right. Kirsten, what do you think?
I'd give it a 7.5.
7.5?
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to give it a 7.5 as well. That's a solid,
Yeah.
a
7.5.
solid 7.5.
Yeah.
So, is this a recommend, Kirsten?
I feel like I don't have any friends that would enjoy this as much as I do.
You need to do friends.
But I would probably rewatch it. I'll probably show my kids someday in the future.
Yeah, I was like, check this movie out. This is cheesy fun from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, it came out in 84. It was a big year for movies, right? And I think this movie would have done better in the theaters had it not gone up against, The Karate Kid and Purple Rain.
Kind of got overshadowed a
Yeah,
bit.
kind of a little bit. So back then it wasn't like, movie going to the movies was an event kind of thing. So
Yeah. You only went once a month at most
Right.
to movies, and probably not even
to
that.
this day, even to this day, you've got one big movie that's coming out, and
Yeah.
there's some other movies that you kind of want to see, but there's usually that one movie, and then the other ones are kind of if you can get around to it.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like it is a solid recommend here. Last Starfighter. It holds up. It's not just nostalgia.
Oh, finally.
Go watch it.
Partially nostalgia, but it is
it's
entertaining.
Yes.
So, all right, guys. Really appreciate you, watching the show, watching us relive our childhood back to the 80s.
Or destroy it.
Or destroy it. Yeah. Thankfully, we got one. We got a winner. Next time, we'll be checking out some more 80s goodness. If you haven't already, the latest episode of The Grizzled Weeb, you actually watched Attack on Titan.
Where I get to subject these guys to things that I like.
Yeah, see? It works both ways. So be sure to check that out and the rest of our videos. All right, so if you want to help the channel out, you can like, subscribe, share with your friends, and help us reach our goal of
5,000 subscribers.
5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's a big goal, but with your guys' help, I think we can do it. If you want to help us directly, you can do so through our Patreon link down below. We get access to early shows. You can shop through our Amazon affiliate link down below. And, whatever you buy through there helps the channel out with no extra cost to you. Or you can shop our Teespring store, which is a link down below as well.
Yes.
Lots of ways you can support the channel. So we appreciate any of it and all of it. So thank you very much. And we'll see you again next time with some more 80s goodness.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.